It's absolutely hilarious to see that fans are still really asking for this and that they're really hoping that this is going to be a thing because it's really not. Nintendo has no interest in doing this. Like they're riding that wave of success right now, but they're not. There's no need for them to upgrade their hardware. That's the thing that I don't understand. That why everybody's just so up in arms about. I mean, this kind of rumor has been going on for so long. We're gonna get a Switch Pro. We're gonna get the Switch Pro. Like when we got the light Switch, the Switch Lite, that was one thing. People kind of let that go, but that everyone was so convinced with all of these different rumors that were going around that we're gonna get a Switch Pro, we're gonna get this thing, and then what did we get? We got the OLED Switch, and oh man, were people disappointed. I personally thought it was kind of a nice little upgrade. The screen on it is definitely improved. The colors just really pop, and it's very nice, very clear, very gorgeous looking screen for on the go. And you can still use the Joy Cons for it. You can still have your controllers on it and all this shit. Like the only like real upgrades aside from that was like an upgraded hard drive, which is not saying much because it was only like double the amount of storage because the old one was a 32 gig and this one's a 64 gig. Sound quality was a bit improved. The kickstand, which was basically like the whole bottom part of the back system that folds out, much better design, and not really much else after that. I mean, you had an improved dock, yeah, but it was a little. The system itself was a little bit bigger, but not by a whole lot. It was a small little bit. So the dock itself was a little bit bigger as well. And the only real upgrade to it was the fact that we had a LAN port. But the point I'm making is that that's the thing that they were giving us. Fans lost their minds, not in a good way. They lost their minds because they're like, wait, this is what you're giving us? Like, really? This is not the Switch Pro because everything under the hood is still basically the same thing. And this really kind of came up when I was looking at this one article, which is right here from SVG. I've never really heard of this one here, but you can see the headline here. New Switch model crushes fans' hopes and dreams. And what they're basically talking about here is the Splatoon right here, actually. No Switch Pro. It's basically this that they're talking about. And while I did do a video on this talking about that this was a thing, it was announced, it's coming out here pretty soon, and it's actually going to be out sooner than the actual game itself, Splatoon 3. But yeah, it's still essentially the same Switch. It's just the back of it has this real nice look to it. It's like it's basically the aesthetic look of the Joy Cons, the Switch itself. Again, on the back plate of it, the dock itself has a lot of cool graphic designs on it and everything based off of that game, Splatoon 3. But it's really funny, and I gotta find it here. There was a quote that somebody had made. They were looking at a lot of different tweets and all that, and right here, one person said, "My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined." Yo, if you if this is something that really truly ruins your day, you must have a pretty damn good life. What's your secret? Like what makes your life so damn good? Like this is the thing that's going to make your day like that bad? Really? The fuck out of here. So, yeah, people are just going nuts about this. The fact that we haven't had a Switch Pro or anything like that. And honestly, I do have an answer for those people. If you are really that, bent out of shape about this whole thing, eat your problems away with a little ice cream because Nintendo is teaming up with Cold Stone to give us multiple flavors. You can see the little Kirby right on this cup here. There's like 3 different flavors. The Mighty Pink Puff is a Kirby-inspired creation that has strawberry ice cream, strawberries, mini marshmallows, and caramel. And then there's one that's based off of the Mario Party Superstars. And the creation is a cake batter ice cream, yellow cake, blue frosting, and rainbow sprinkles. And then there's the last one here, the Island Getaway, which is Animal Crossing. And this one has chocolate ice cream, strawberries, banana, and whipped cream topping. And I just wanted to get this in here to show this article off because I thought it was kind of interesting how Nintendo is teaming up with these, kind of interesting little flavors here with Cold Stone. So there's that. But going back to this now, it's just like, I can't believe that people are still talking about a Switch Pro because it's never going to happen. Nintendo has no intention. I mean, let's look at the history of like Nintendo's past. Like there was only like one time with the Super Nintendo where that was essentially the most powerful console of that generation, because Sega came out with the Genesis to compete with the NES. And then Nintendo's response was like, okay, we're going to throw the SNES out there, the Super Nintendo. And that was the most powerful system on the market at the time. And I guess it can be debated whether the N64 was a more powerful system than the other consoles of the fifth generation. But the fact that they still went with that cartridge over CDs really held them back. And we all know what happened there with third-party developers. That was the start of Nintendo's relationship with these third-party companies just kind of going downhill. And I'm trying to think of any other consoles that were really as powerful. I mean, the GameCube was certainly capable, but it was held back by the mini discs and not full-fledged DVDs. The Wii U wasn't, that much powerful than the 360 and the PS3, and plus at the time we had the PS4 and the Xbox One coming out anyways, so it really didn't matter. Honestly, Nintendo just has a history of not giving a shit when it comes to beefing up their hardware. So the fact that everyone's going all crazy about Nintendo putting out something hardware-wise anyways, something more capable, we're just never going to see that. And when you really think about it, Nintendo's strategy is the one thing that's really carried them along up to this point with the Switch. I mean, we've had a lot of new games produced for the Switch. We've had so many ports of Wii U titles brought over to the Switch, better versions, of those games. We've got older games coming out from whether it's last generation ports of 7th generation. Yes, we have seen some 8th generation stuff, but that's kind of all but done now, I think. And there's very few of those coming out at this point, but we still get those ports from the 7th generation, the 6th, 5th, and going further back. The Switch has really become a system where all of these games from the past can pretty much come to, and it's all welcome. You can get physical copies, you can get digital copies. It's whatever you want to get, but it's kind of all conveniently on that system. And the fact that you can take it anywhere on the go is their selling point right there. And one of the other big ones too is the fact that all the indie titles, I mean, indie games, yeah, you can get pretty much anywhere else. PC, PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, whatever, on your smartphone, I'm sure. I don't know much about that. I don't participate in gaming that involves mobile gaming. Anything with mobile games, as I just think it's junk anyways. There's a bunch of games on the Switch, but the difference is that Nintendo has these indie games. Yes, you can get them digitally, but you can also get them physically. And there's also a lot of limited run type of games from Limited Run or I Am 8-Bit or something like that. And for collectors, they go crazy for that shit. So it's so successful in terms of that, and plus everything else I had just said. So they're not even close to wanting to bring a Switch Pro. I mean, if they do, that's cool, but Nintendo is not going to do that. Everybody just needs to calm down, stop talking about this, because it's not a thing that's ever going to happen. In fact, if Nintendo is thinking about making a jump to another platform because the Switch has been out for a little while now, I don't know. I think they're still going to ride that a little bit longer. They're going to just milk the crap out of the Switch no matter what happens right now. And I think that they're too afraid to even move on to the next thing anyways. The Switch has been so successful for them, and it was the first real successful console that they have, very popular console that they've ever had. I mean, financially, the original Wii was a very good success for them, in terms of financial sales. A lot of their games were garbage, though. there's a handful of stuff that's on there that's worth getting, but the problem was it just wasn't very popular. It's nothing like what the Switch is right now. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, there's nothing in Nintendo's past, maybe a couple things here and there, but it doesn't come close to the Switch. You really think that they're going to be, willing to let that shit go in favor of something new and or mid-grade or mid-console upgrade? Like, do you really think that they're going to do something like that? Because I certainly don't think so. I'm just looking at it from a realistic, perspective. So that's just something that popped up here, and I also wanted to squeeze that little article in with the Cold Stone and Nintendo thing. So I just thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, man, I saw that article, and then I seen it was popping up a little bit more, like it was trending a little bit more ever since the Nintendo released that Splatoon 3 OLED Switch. And say what you want, man, but it's not gonna happen. Nintendo is riding that wave of success. They don't want to rock the boat too much, you know what I mean? Like, because they just want to keep making money, right? They just want to keep getting that money in, counting all the money they got, right? That's all they care about. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. That's all I got for you guys today on this one. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.